back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin today in Australia, where the country has recently had an incident involving China, where one of their military assets was harassed by a Chinese jet. From BBC, quote, Australia's defense ministry said it expressed concerns to its Chinese counterparts over the unsafe and unprofessional interaction. No one was injured and there was no damage to Australia's P-8A surveillance jet after the Tuesday's incident, the ministry said. But China said that Australian aircraft intentionally intruded into its airspace and that the Chinese fighter jet responded in a legitimate, lawful, and professional and restrained manner. This is the latest in a string of encounters between the two countries' militaries in the region, where China's vast claims over islands and outcrops overlap with those of its neighbors, end quote. This week in Europe, there has been a new push in order to find self-dependence when it comes to the defense front. From Reuters, quote, the European leaders meeting in Paris on Monday for emergency talks called for higher spending to ramp up the continent's defense capabilities, but remained split on the idea of developing peacekeepers to go to Ukraine to back up any peace deal. U.S. leader Donald Trump arranged bilateral peace talks with Russia, excluding European allies and Ukraine from negotiations to end the war that are scheduled to begin in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. The U.S. decision to go it alone with Russia has sparked a realization among European nations that they will have to do more to ensure Ukraine's security. Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Monday evening said there must be a U.S. security commitment for European countries to put boots on the ground. He said it was too early to say how many British troops he would be willing to deploy, end quote. Next, we travel to South America, where President Milei of Argentina is facing the accusation of defrauding the Argentine citizens. From BBC, Milei posted on X, formerly Twitter, about $Libra coin on Friday, which he said would help fund small businesses and startups. He shared a link to buy it, causing its price to shoot up. But within a few hours, he deleted his post and the cryptocurrency nosedived in value, losing investors most of their money. Some opposition members of Congress say that they plan to start proceedings to impeach Milei. Meanwhile, lawyers filed complaints of fraud in Argentina's criminal court on Sunday. Some people online have accused Milei of what is known as a rug pull, where promoters of cryptocurrency draw in buyers only to stop trading activity and make off with the money raised from sales. They pointed out that the link used to buy the coins referenced a phrase that the president used in many of his speeches, end quote. Across the Atlantic in Africa, we go to South Africa, who is looking to expand its nuclear program. From Reuters, quote, South Africa, which operates Africa's only nuclear power plant, Coimberg, plans to add 250 megawatts of new capacity to tackle electricity outages that have been plaguing the economy and to reduce emissions. Quote, we can't have a contract that says Iran or Russia must not bid. We can not have that condition. Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwine Mastuche, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, sir, one of the government's leading proponents of expanding nuclear capacity, said, quote, if they are the best terms of the offer on the table, we will take any country, he told Reuters, end quote. Next, we look to Mexico, where a massive seizure of crystal meth has astounded local police. From BBC, quote, the Mexican army says it seized more than 4 tons of methamphetamine in raids conducted in the violent whack state of Sinaloa over the weekend. Soldiers raided warehouses and drug labs in Higueras de Abuya, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, a village about 75 kilometers south of the state capital of Chuluacan. A spokesperson for the army said the seizure was of such a large amount of synthetic drugs, which in its form is known by its street name crystal meth, and it would constitute a hard blow to whichever criminal gang has been behind the labs, end quote. And we finish today in Asia, where Taiwan has continued to mount its defenses in anticipation of a Chinese attack. From Reuters, quote, Taiwan is exploring buying arms worth billions of dollars from the United States, sources briefed on the matter said, hoping to win support from the new Trump administration as China continues to apply military pressure to the island. The packages is meant to demonstrate to the U.S. that Taiwan is committed to its defense, one of the sources said. A second source said the package would include coastal defense cruise missiles and HIMARS rockets. Quote, I would be very surprised if it was anything less than $8 billion, somewhere between 7 to 10 billion, the source said. And with that, if you want to read any of today's articles in full, you can go down to the links in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, and Podvine. So you can go there, save it, listen to it on the road in the future. And of course, you can go to the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post the links to this episode and Monday, Wednesday, Friday's podcast, which is US focused over there as well. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die.